Hey there, it's Jennie, and welcome back. I am so excited to chat with my friend, Micquelyn Malina. So we call her Mikey, and we've known each other for a couple years now. We met through our coach. When you meet people through your coach that you respect and admire, that they've got to be great people too, because they are in the same kind of mindset as you are. So, Mikey, today is all about just learning from you. You have many years of experience. You have the same number of years in life as me. And so we've definitely learned a lot through all of these years. And so just share with everyone who you are, where you are, and then kind of your background and story about your real estate career and also while being a mom.
Yeah. Well, I'm Micquelyn Malina from Kansas City. We're in the suburb of Overland Park, Kansas, on the Kansas side, but we're licensed in Kansas and Missouri as well. And I got my license when I was in college because my parents had gone into real estate late in life. And my dad lost his job, and my mom had always said, "We're doing real estate." Her father was a developer in Arkansas around the lake. And so I was in college for marketing. I said, I'm going to be a CEO of a company one day. I'm not going to be in sales. I'm going to sell real estate. And my parents, because it was 97, there was no email or cell phone, and they wanted to go on vacation. So they said, go get your real estate license. It's easy to do over holiday break and watch our business when we're gone. And I was like, all right, I'll do that. So again, full time, not going to sell real estate. And I worked at an ad agency for about 9 months and made, oh my gosh, it was no money at all. And it was terrible, like 60 hours a week. And it was not Melrose Place, right? At the time. And thank goodness, really. So I said, well, I'm going to look for something else. I'll keep selling real estate. And I really liked it a lot. But my job was to sit in the office because some of you are not the same age as Jennie and I, but there was the Homes magazine you would get from the grocery store. People would take it home, flip through it, call the office. And if you as a listing agent were not in the office, it went to some other agent. So and that lead was expensive. And my mom said, use in the office. If you convert one of those leads, it's your buyer and have fun. So there was no scripts, there was no bull, there was no Jennie Wolek telling you what to say. And I figured out real quick, if you tell them the price, they're just going to hang up on you. And so I'm really good at converting those leads now. And that's kind of my superpower. So that's how I started building my business. And my dad retired, and my mom and I became partners. And we figured out that I really love listings. And so early on, I was like, we're just going to list properties, and I could be a mom and be home. And it was almost like as I started having kids, because I was unmarried without kids when I got my license, right? And so going through that whole process, and I quickly figured out if I had listings, then everybody else is out running around and doing all that work on the nights and weekends, and I can go to all the stuff and be a mom. So, and it was also like that scene in the movie Braveheart where, Mel Gibson, they're standing on the hill and the other army's charging towards them. And I was like, I wanted to go and build my business, but I said, it's also important to me that I can be here with my kids. So I would say hold, as Mel Gibson saying, hold, wait, don't do it yet. And my motto was really like, I want my family to feel like I don't work at all. And I want my clients to feel like I work 100% of the time, which is a very hard thing to balance. And it's easy to do if you're selling 6 to 7 million, if you kind of figure out how to do that. So for me, I didn't want to just stay in that place. So I was consistently selling around 6 to 7 million. And one of my mom hacks I would do is if I had the kids with me and a client would call, and my kids knew that if I had to answer the phone, and they tell all their friends, just, shh, you got to take this call. And I would say, I would take the call and I would say, hey, I'm with a client right now. But I saw you calling. It was very important to me. Can I call you back at this point? Or is there something important that you need to say right now? And first time I did that, my kids go, oh my gosh, mom, we're not a client. You're so crazy. What are you doing? And I was like, you guys are my most important client. my other clients did not need to know who I was with or what my appointment was. I felt like, and this is maybe a limiting belief, but I felt like if I told them I was with my kids or doing something that wasn't business related, they would discount me as a mom just selling real estate. And I did not want to be seen as that. So I just was very careful. I have an appointment, blocking my schedule and being very careful about it. So,
Mikey, I don't think you're alone at all when we have that, whether you're a mom or a dad. If you do have young ones, then it is quite the struggle. You want to be the best real estate agent and the best mom at the same time. And then you actually kind of are failing at both. And that's
100%.
That's where so many of us get in it. So whether it's, with kids or with just realizing that you're ready to up your production, what was that mindset shift and what did you do to make, did the kids get older and you had more time? You're like, now I'm ready to go.
Yes. When they hit middle school and they were in school, pretty much left school for school by 7 a.m. And I was like, all right, I can get a lot done between 7 and 3 and schedule appointments as I need. So that's when I really started going hard. I kept repeating this mantra to myself, you playing small does not serve the world. And so from that, from that, I was like, what do I want to do with all of this opportunity? I don't want to just sling houses, but create a business that I can make a difference in other people's lives. So, and Gary Keller one time said, if your assistant, your leverage is not ripping things out of your hand, they're the wrong person. And I realized I didn't have great people around me. So I started really looking, I started with part-time, because I needed the leverage and, not really even knowing what that was. I just knew if I was lead generating, really these 5 things. I only needed to be lead generating, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, writing contracts, and inspections. Inspections used to take up a lot more time. They're coming back. Well, not so much anymore, but for a short time they were coming back. So luckily that kind of has gone away a little bit. Yet those 5 things, that's the only thing I was focused on. If I'm following up with agents and chasing paper, I needed someone that could see that and get that done. I found that person, it all runs together. So I have to look at when that actually happened, because that was a huge game changer for me. I mean, I went to, in 2018, I was consistently around 6 to 8 million, happy with that, being able to be with my kids all the time. I never really missed a softball game or a dance thing or anything like that. But in 2018, we jumped to 17 million. And that was that first good hire that really was taking ownership and taking things off my plate. So being quick to be ready to let that person go if they weren't that person.
So you knew you were feeling the overwhelm of, I've got too many, things going on here. I need some help. Were you afraid to bring on help?
Oh, 100%. So scared to do it. And, our loving coach that's so warm and fuzzy, right, would be like saying some choice words to us, like, quit being an idiot and just go. And he would always frame it in the way of change somebody's life.
Right.
And that fit right into my mantra of me playing small is not serving the world. And so, really just being authentic who I was and finally finding the person that could approach me. And really, once I started breaking it down, I'm a high numbers person. I am always calculating the numbers and reevaluating all this. Sometimes too much analysis paralysis we get into. But really when it was, do I have 3 months of salary to pay this person? Because if they're not 4 times that money, right, then they got to go. And being okay with that and know, oh, I'm going to run out of money because you haven't helped me. So it's really not, you're not doing the job or I don't like you. It's, we're running out of money because you haven't helped me create more money to pay you.
Right. That's the hard part, I think, sometimes. So let's go into how you kind of separated yourself or got creative when it came to building your niche inside of your market.
Yeah. Well, I almost made a really stupid decision and said, I'm going to ditch a niche. I almost said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I was like, I had a really great, there was a productivity coach in the office and I was talking to her about it. And she almost had an airplane moment where they slapped me across the face. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, because we had a large market share. And I was like, it's further away from where I live, but it's where I grew up and I stayed in that niche. So that niche was really land and homes on land. And that's evolved to even creating inventory through the land. So, and once I realized it's a cycle all the way through of people that live in town and residential, and then they usually want to buy some land or move out to a home on land. And then those people selling those want to move in town. So we just created that niche. And when people ask me, oh, I don't have that, how can I create a niche for myself? It's like, okay, what do you like to do and what do you know and where do people already know you? So just, and Gary Keller says, do you have enough people to talk to and do you know what to say? So just know what to say to those people. Like, do you have someone that how do you want to be seen? I wanted to be seen as a business person and a professional. Like I wanted to know the stats and what was happening in the market. And you throw a couple of stats at most people and they're like, okay, that's fine. We'll work with you. You sound smart. You don't even really need to know much more beyond that, but just know what you're talking about. And they'll ask you, they always want to talk about real estate. I really wanted to start selling in my neighborhood in a regular subdivision near my kids' school. I hadn't really broken into that market very well. And why wouldn't you want to hire the person that lives in your neighborhood that's a real estate agent? Like, duh, like you will want to protect those home values. So I started a book club. I was reading, I was doing a lot of stuff. I like to drink wine. Like, let's read a book and talk about it. And there you start asking me about real estate. And I got a 25% market share in a 450 home subdivision. So, and they were all around 300 to $500,000 homes. So back then, so
Wow.
it's and we're still very active. It's dropped to about 18% in there because the last few years there was more real estate agents. So we're expecting to get that back.
So you've had this growth, you've achieved that coveted MREA status. Was that your goal just because you're a numbers person? You're like, I'm going to get there and do whatever it takes. And then what did it feel like once you achieved it?
Well, it's the journey. It didn't really feel like anything. It felt like, okay, next, what's next? Because I'm a high D and I don't always celebrate the wins. And that's my toxic trait for myself. Like you have to really focus on, hey, this is fun. We're having fun every single day. And Jennie, you are such a great example for me of that, of like living that and having fun every day. I will just put my head down and keep driving and keep working. And I saw my business slip off. Like I thought, yeah, I can keep doing this for the next X years. This is fun. I like doing this. No, my body hit a wall and mentally and physically. And that's why if you want to keep, and Jordan Fried always tells us, do you want to be a legacy agent or do you want to be a lifestyle agent? So do you like the lifestyle and you'll enjoy that? And when you're ready to be done, it just all fades away. That's a lifestyle. Legacy is you're creating a legacy for your family, for your clients, for your people that work with you. And there's so many layers of people that work with you that you're creating legacies for. So
now I want to go back to something because you kind of just dismissed it like it wasn't a big deal. Remember when Gary said this, tweetable quote from stage and he had on a t-shirt that said, buy dirt?
Mm-hmm.
Were you excited about that or not excited about that?
I was very excited about it because I've helped my family and all my clients grow wealth from buying dirt. And I emailed Gary and I said, you didn't close the circle and tell him how to make money on this,
Right. That's what I want you to finish with here.
Yeah.
So if I remember you telling me this story and you just kind of like, I guess maybe you don't celebrate your wins because you're just like, yeah, I just did this. Well, not every agent does that. And I think I want everyone to really hear that sometimes in different markets, we may need to get a little creative. whether it's working with land or commercial or whatever your niche is inside of it, or just your neighborhood specialist.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you created a plan and then you got creative and educated yourself on how to make it happen. So what did that exactly look like?
Well, it really came from, again, a coaching call and what's your biggest issue right now? What's your biggest challenge right now?
Exactly.
And I told Jordan, it was like 4.5, 5 years ago, it was inventory. And it's been inventory for a long time. And it's like, okay, what can you do about it? Well, okay, what are we doing? Golden line, we're just doing all the same boring stuff. I was selling land that I was selling, and then other people were splitting and dividing. And I was like, and I was teaching them how to do it, but I wasn't doing it for myself and for my clients. So we had one of the biggest ones is we had a 60-acre tract that was right next to in town property. And I looked at it and we developed a how we could split lots off from it. It was a 17 lot subdivision. I took it to several builders and developers in the area, and they said, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. It doesn't have a sewer, and it'd be too expensive to get a sewer. And I was like, this is what I sell. I sell luxury homes and land. You do a septic tank and you're not going to have a build cost. And they're like, no, not in our wheelhouse. So I took it to another investor who was not in real estate, and he did the project. And it ended up being about 25, $30 million in volume for me over a few years. And land is the only thing that you can have 5 legs of business from. You can get the listing, you can get the sale, because most agents don't know how to do it. Most buyers will call you direct from that. We had the lot sale, we had the luxury build job, and then the buyer sale on the other side, because typically they called me direct and didn't have another agent that was helping them. So we really got, and it's still ongoing, 5 legs from that.
So really, I think what I'm hearing you say is sometimes it's just asking yourself or having somebody ask you questions that make you think a little differently.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure
Yes.
everyone hears that is, what's your biggest issue right now? What are your clients' biggest issues right now? And how can I help solve them? Right? Making sure that our messaging matches the market and what's going on. That you made me think of even the similar pieces. How many investors have we made so wealthy because we go on that listing appointment and it's a great deal for an investment opportunity, and we just put it on the MLS and maybe make 3%, where we could be that buyer and we could be tapping into that. All right. Any final words that you have to shed some wisdom on some people that are watching and they have been in the business a while and they really just want to keep up in their game while still living this awesome counterbalanced life? Because I think that's what you're really great at.
Well, I mean, for me, it was just, do you have all the right people in your life, and who are you in business with that, that really matters? Like, do they care? And, can you partner with them? It's not that they're going to work for you. They're going to work with you, because you can only really do 5 jobs. I don't know. There's probably statistics out there. Jordan probably knows exactly what it is, but that's how I look at it. Like, if I'm spreading myself too thin, so just finding the people, and it's hard to do. It is very hard, but it's worth it in the end. Sometimes it's easier for me. Like, a lead calls in and I hear an agent talk to them and they are off the phone quickly. And I'm like, let me call them back. And that's easy. Let me just call them back and I'll convert them. No, I'm going to take the time to train you what to say, and you're going to call them back right then. So doing whatever you do right now that's harder is going to pay off 100 times in the end and make your life so much easier. That was always my advice to new moms. Like, whatever you do right now, and it's business owners, it's everybody, choose the hard thing first. Not, I'm just going to do this because it's easy right now. It's going to make your life so much harder. So whether it's with your health or money, financial, business, anything, do that hard stuff up front. Saving, eating healthy, working out, lead generation, go create that pipeline and do that hard work now. Find the right leverage. It's hard to do and you're not alone, but don't be afraid. I wasted a lot of time being afraid. We're all afraid to do that next step, but I say go do it. It's worth it in the end. And what you can do for other people is incredible.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So Mikey, real quick, how can everybody best find you if they want to connect or reach out?
Well, we're on all the socials, Malina Real Estate, Malina, and we're in Kansas City. So I'm always jumping on Zooms or helping people. So, I mean, my phone number is 913-645-5130. And I'm always open to email or chat with me, direct message me, wherever, however you can find me. Google. It's a tricky word to spell, but that's why we use Malina on everything because that's easier.
There you go. Well, thank you for sharing all this and appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it too.